Everyone, and stop me if you've heard this before when it comes to homes, but you hear that the average age to be a buyer, even a first-time home buyer, is in your mid to late 40s, and you got to make six figures in like $200,000 in order to afford a home. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, well, I'm here to tell you that's not the whole story, especially here in Texas and the Austin and Central Texas area. Now, for those of you that don't know, my name is Caleb. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Austin and Central Texas. And my goal is to show you what the actual story is versus what national averages are, because the national story doesn't tell you what's going on here locally. Now, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Second thing is, I'm going to break down and show you how I've had clients that have actually gotten homes below even the median prices. And that's in high, well wanted areas such as Pflugerville and Round Rock. So let's break all that down and let's get into some actual numbers. So let's tackle the elephant in the room. And that's when you see the scary headlines that say the national average age of first time home buyers is 49 years old. It's terrifying. It's enough to make you say, well, I'll just rent for my whole life then. The thing is, this is a very large country. So it's disingenuous at best because there's a lot of things that skew those averages. And just to give you an example is you have two different areas of America that's bumping that average age up. First are coastal cities such as San Francisco, Los Angeles, Boston, and so on, where even your most standard homes cost over $1 million. So of course the average age is going to be much higher. It has to be. How else are you going to afford a home that's like $1.2 million? And the other thing is you have all the retirement hubs, and that the big two are Florida and Arizona. Now that obviously skews the numbers up because a bunch of people who have been very smart about saving up money and having equity, when they retire, they're able to outbid everybody. So that brings the numbers up. Now here's what's great about Texas. We're actually the age deflator. We're actually bringing the number down. The average age out here in the state is mid 30s. And the reason for that is because businesses are still coming out here. They're still setting up shop and they're still bringing in new jobs. And we have rising inventory, and builders are building as fast as they possibly can. So you factor that all in together. That means what it means for you is do not let a California or Boston problem keep you out of getting into a Texas home. Now that we've talked about the national age being incorrect due to factors that are bringing it up, you might look at me and go, Caleb, look, I can believe you about the age, but I've gone on to Zillow or Realtor.com or wherever you look, and I've seen what the average, like median price of homes are. It's insane. Even the most basic 3-2, 1,200 square feet, I'm not looking for anything crazy. That home is just, it's way out of my league. Now, here's the thing. Median prices suffer from a similar thing as what we just discussed with age. There are certain things that are going to bring that number up. And that's including things like flips, where the investor who flipped it turns it into a luxury listing. So in other words, the homes that get flipped and they maybe bought it for 200,000, but after they flipped it and put every bell and whistle known to man in it, now it's worth 650,000. That's going to skew the numbers. And in fact, let's talk about some specifics. We'll start in a very sought after place, and that is Pflugerville. So let's talk about Pflugerville. If you Google the average home price in Pflugerville, it's about $380,000. Though, as we discussed earlier, that includes all the bells and whistles, all the homes that have been flipped to become luxury houses, and that can skew the price. To really make that point, I actually had two buyers, one that bought a home in Pflugerville for $325 and another one who bought a home for $305. And if you think, oh, they must have been shacks, no, they were both lovely homes. In fact, the 325 home got sold because that seller was very motivated. They had already moved into their next home, and so they needed that one sold as quickly as possible to help free up funds. And the 305, that one had been sitting for a while, and it wasn't pristine. Now, it doesn't mean there's a roof did not need to be replaced. There's no like walls missing, but it had a few little things here and there that can be very easily fixed with a weekend warrior project. And because of that, most buyers overlooked it, and my buyers got to take advantage of one heck of a deal, and that's how we managed to save them money. So That is where the opportunity is to find the homes that people overlook. Now let's discuss the other suburb that everyone is flocking to, and that's Round Rock. Now, a lot of people think Round Rock is untouchable because thanks to all the tech companies out there, the average price floats between, when you Google it, between like 465 and 500,000. And yeah, that sounds unreachable. But what if I told you I got clients who found a home for $260,000? I'm not kidding. It's right here. Now, is it a mansion with all the most recent bells and whistles with a giant jacuzzi? No. But what it is, it's a beautiful starter home that got them off the hamster wheel of rent. And because of that, now while everybody else has been having to scramble, well, they get to build equity now. So that way, in the future, they can then move into their forever home. So the question I know you're going to be having is, how on earth do you find a home for under 300,000 in a suburb where the average is over 4? Well, here's how it is. It's not about following the headlines. It's about making a smart strategy that helps you see the homes that most people overlook. Here's what I mean. One, you look for motivated sellers. Now, on the surface, you may not always know what has made them motivated. Sometimes, but if you do see large days on market, there's a good chance they'll be more motivated. But the thing is also, divorce happens, like new jobs that force you to have to relocate. Sometimes people move because they have a growing family and they want to move back to, maybe their hometown, or maybe they need to get a bigger home because now they've had multiple children or whatever it may be. Life forces people to be motivated. And when you find those people, deals happen faster. And the other thing is, you find the ugly duckling houses. Now, I don't mean you find the homes that look like teardowns. That's a whole different thing. And if you're an investor, I can help you with that as well. But by ugly duckling, I mean homes the internet overlooks for very simple reasons that can be easily fixed. Like, let's say it has dark photos, or maybe it doesn't show the best angle. Or you go to the home and you find out all it really needs is some paint, a deep cleaning. I mean, at worst, maybe replace the carpet. But all of those things are not very expensive, especially in the grand scheme of home costs. Those are easy to replace. Heck, some of those you might be able to get reimbursed thanks to seller concessions. And then you get a home at a good price because those sellers are having to drop the price in order to get people to look at it. And you get a deal. So these are the things you look for. And so that way you can beat the average and make sure you are still walking away with a home that you enjoy. So what does all of this mean, and why have I been covering this? Well, to put it simply, even if you're seeing this video in the future and the numbers really have shifted one way or the other, remember this, because this is true no matter what. National headlines is for entertainment. Local real estate, that is where decision making takes place. So that means if you are just getting scared and staying out of the real estate market solely because of a scary headline you saw from a YouTuber or from a Facebook page you follow or an Instagram page, you might be missing out on a really good deal, such as 260K in Round Rock or 305K in Pflugerville. I don't want that to happen for you because, as I said at the beginning, I love to help buyers and I want to help you get off the hamster wheel that is rent. So please stop being controlled by a bunch of pages that really they're farming your depression, they're farming your rage. So if you really think that it's impossible, please comment below because I would love to talk with you about it, because I would love to be able to show you what the market's like here in Austin compared to the rest of the country. So just reach out and let's disprove all of those stats together. And I hope to see all of you in the next one.